back to another exciting episode of CUNY Uncut, where we talk about anything and everything, uncensored, unedited, and uncut. I'm your host, Isabel Ortiz, and today I am thrilled to be joined by a new and very exciting guest. She is currently a sophomore at Hunter College, and when she's not hitting the books, you can find her on the court, being a standout on the Hunter College women's basketball team. With that being said, I would love to give a very warm welcome to Alexa Charles. Hi, Alexa. Welcome to CUNY Uncut. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure being here.
Well, I am super happy to have you on the show today because I would say I don't have an athletic bone in my body at all. Never have. I've tried. It just doesn't work for me. But I've always been really interested in this idea of like sportsmanship and what it means to be on a team, and especially women's basketball. I thought that's been really interesting. And so I wanted to know, like, how did you get involved in basketball and why basketball?
Well, it started at a very young age. I kind of was thrown at different sports when I was younger. I played soccer, I played volleyball, I've played basketball. But really stuck through basketball because that was one of the things that I enjoyed doing for a while. So I would say I started about at 5 years old. And ever since then, I loved the game and I never looked back.
5 years old?
5 years old, yeah.
That's insane. Because I know you hear a lot of stories about when people first started playing basketball. It was like somebody put a basketball in their hand and it was like, that's it. The decision was made. Was that something for you? Did somebody put a basketball in your hand?
My uncles was really into basketball, but my father was like a soccer guy, so I stuck with soccer for a while up until my freshman year of high school. And then ever since then, I've been focusing more on basketball, and that kind of broke my dad's heart. But that's been like, I feel like basketball, yes, it was like a one and done thing for me because I enjoyed it very much.
Okay. I know it takes a lot of dedication to stick to anything for that long, especially 5 years old, and then you ultimately made the decision it's going to be basketball. Basketball, we're tied together.
Yes.
But what made you really consider to carry that into the collegiate level? Especially like you may be really good at something in high school. You may feel like it's right for you, but when you're in college, I know things change. So what made you stick with that?
So when I was a sophomore in high school, I was so my high school coach, he really stirred me to the idea that if you are going to use basketball to get you into college, you'd have to like focus now, like start now. So I stopped playing volleyball and running track my sophomore year and only played basketball, which means during the volleyball season that I would have had, I spent time training for basketball. So I would do that, and with that being said, I considered going to college for basketball, like to just get me into school, if you get what I mean.
Okay. You saw that as a stepping stone to get you into
school. Like it would help. Like it's like a talent that would help me, like help with that extra push of being like getting accepted into college, if you get what I'm saying. But I really enjoyed the game. Like other than trying to get into school, I really enjoyed playing basketball. So playing at the college level was a no-brainer for me.
So it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was a stepping stone, but it wasn't just, I like basketball, let's continue to play basketball.
Exactly.
It was, no, I love basketball and I want to continue this.
Exactly. It was something that I didn't just want to end. And yeah.
What is that training like from going from high school to college? Have you noticed like a difference in the training?
Yes, I've noticed that. So from high school to college, I mean, I guess the training is, it's different because you have to be more conditioned, like you have to be more like engaged, you have to be more like alert, like it's more important, like I guess to me than it was in high school because it matters a little bit more to me, if you get what I'm saying. Like the growth and like dog in me for winning has grown extremely hard from high school to college, and I think it's definitely something that keeps me going.
I love that, the dog in you. That's so funny. I've never heard of that, but it makes a lot of sense. Would you say you're very competitive?
Oh, I'm a very competitive person.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, would you say that's just in basketball?
I would say it's, I mean, yeah, we can say it's just for basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know too, like during college, you're stepping into like a new life, and that can come with a lot of change. So I wondered, how did joining the Hunter women's basketball team really if it did it smooth that transition out for you?
I feel like yes and no. Yes,
Okay.
because when you're on a basketball team, it's easier to make friends, so you feel more at home. And like I've mentioned, I do dorms, so like the same girls that I do play with, I also live with, so that's like an easy way of making friends. But like the school aspect, and just living away from home, not really. I mean, I'm not that far away from home, but it's like, not being there all the time. It's just different. I mean, it just took a while to adjust that, wow, I'm actually living in New York City right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think no matter what distance, if you're not in that like home environment that you knew for so long, or because where did you say you were from?
Tarrytown.
You're from Tarrytown.
Yeah.
Like, from Tarrytown to New York City, I'm sure like that's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you were in the dorm with some of the girls that you play basketball with. What is that relationship like with those girls, or with your team, really?
My relationship with my team is very good, and it's even better because, like I said, like I do live with some of them. Like my best friends, KD, Aaron, and Katie, they're there, and we like sometimes we cook together, we shop together, we have become really close over the years, and I think it's safe to say that I really enjoy being friends with them, and I'm happy that I've really met them, to be honest with you.
Would you say they're your found family?
I would think so, yes. They're very important to me, and I'm getting a little emotional, but
I love that. That's beautiful.
but yeah, I really do enjoy being friends with them.
I love that, and I think that's great if you can find that friendship in college, like I said, because especially like when you are growing and like if you go into like your late teens, early 20s, like you are really trying to figure stuff out.
For sure.
Being that you are at Hunter, though, what is your major?
I'm an accounting major at Hunter.
Okay, accounting and basketball.
Yeah.
That seems like two heavy loads to be lifting.
Very heavy, yes.
Okay. And I feel like sometimes student athletes or student athletics, there's this, I don't know if it's a misconception, but there's this kind of stereotype of student athletes that academics come second and whatever the sport is comes first, or that student athletes may not have to try as hard at academics. Do you feel like that's the case, or like how is that misconception, that stereotype, wrong?
So that is 100% false.
Okay.
Because as an accounting major and as a basketball player, like, yes, basketball is really fun and all, but like it will end eventually. Like that's why, I mean, it depends on the person, but I have my priorities straight, whereas I need to get my schoolwork done so that when I do well in the major that I'm majoring in, and that I actually know what I'm doing when I get out of school, so I can like, easily find a job. But like I personally, freshman year, I did struggle with balancing my workload and basketball at the same time because it was all new. But like,
Yeah.
I eventually got the grasp of it and just decided like as an individual how much time I needed with schoolwork and how much time I needed with basketball. So yes, it can be hard and you can be like misled in terms of like what are your priorities at the moment, but I think I did a pretty good job of balancing my workload and making sure school comes first.
Okay. Because I feel too like I'm a media major, so like that's like film, TV, like all that wrapped into one. And like growing up, love TV, love movies. So I feel like in TV and movies, especially the way student athletes are portrayed, it's like leaning more so on social life than on academics. Would you say like you lean more so on social life?
I mean,
Like partying, stuff like that.
I mean, I am not much of a party person, to be very honest with you. But I do like to have a good time with my friends. So sometimes I would X out schoolwork to hang out with my friends, but not at a rate where it would cause me to like, play catch up with schoolwork. But yeah.
I also feel like it's a natural thing though, like when you're in school, you do have those classes that kind of fall to the back burner.
No, yeah,
they
for
may
sure.
not mean, like, you may not mean it to happen that way, but, like, it does.
Yeah, I have, so last year, like my freshman year, or my spring semester freshman year, I had classes like geology, I had classes like, the classes that you have to take, and I did put that on the back burner, and, like, I did, fail a test, and I was like, okay, it's a wake-up call, like, if you get what I'm saying. But like it's it's definitely the classes that don't have to do with my major where I'm like, okay, back burner, and then like put the major classes like priority first and then worry about the rest later. So I guess you can say yes, I do worry about the social atmosphere of my life, obviously, because that's important to me.
Yeah.
But I don't lose track of school.
You have your head on straight.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah. That's great, because I think if you're able to balance those two things and be so dedicated to basketball, I think that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of this dedication factor, I know dedication in schoolwork, like having to balance those things, has there ever been a time so far? I know you're only a sophomore, but was there ever a time where you thought maybe I have to give basketball up?
There's definitely been moments where I have questioned whether or not it's too much playing and having school, especially with the major that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, my freshman year, no, it wasn't. It was this actually past semester. I was this fall semester. I had an economics class, microeconomics, and it was very hard. Like the only reason why I passed that class is because he would curve every single test.
That's the best.
No, literally, it's the best. I would wake up so early to go to his office hours too, so I can get work in, and it still didn't help. But I did pass because of the curve. But I had a very bad emotional breakdown because of that class, and there's definitely thoughts of whether or not basketball is taking too much time. But I would never actually like quit basketball. If you get what I'm saying.
So there's never been a moment in your life where you might have lost the motivation or the passion for it, right? And then you've had to reignite that passion within yourself for basketball? Has there ever been a moment like that?
There's been moments where I hate the game only because of the way it's like I guess the way that I'm feeling that day. Like if like training, for example, like training for basketball is really hard. Like in the summer, I kind of have to force myself to do it. And sometimes I just stop and think to myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm literally torturing my body for what? But it ultimately rekindles with me on how it's just been it's been a factor in my life for so long. And it's not only been something that I love, it's been something that I go to like as an escape sometimes, like from stuff that would happen at home, from things that happen with my high school friends or whatever. It's just been something that was always present in my life.
You can rely on it.
Yes, for sure.
I think that's nice if anybody can have something that they can use as an escape from something. That's awesome. You touched on the mental toll that basketball can take, or being dedicated to a sport can take. And I know that during your first season, you won CUNY AC Rookie of the Year. You won Hunter College Women's Basketball MVP in just your first season. That's awesome. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
But I wonder, how much pressure do those accolades put on you to kind of keep up that performance, especially because it was only your first season? Like, now that you're in your second season, does that pressure continue?
I feel like yes, the pressure is definitely there, and it does take a mental toll to me sometimes. But I just have to I tell myself all the time that it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. Like I can't work myself up and like kill myself mentally for it. I mean, there's certainly days where I have my moments where I feel like, oh my God, this is on me. If I don't maintain this or whatever, it's going to be bad for the team, my teammates. And like, I definitely have those days. Like, I'm not going to lie, I definitely have those days. But I also have to remember to be a leader, because I am a captain on the team. So if I show weakness, then I'm showing my teammates that it's okay to do the same thing that I'm doing. When in reality, I'm supposed to bring out the dog in them. But like, yeah.
And I'm sure being a captain, like, there's that role model kind of relationship that goes on. How do you feel you are a role model, especially like you said, keeping up their motivation? What in other ways do you hope to be that you're a role model for the other people on the team?
I try and act like I'm never tired.
Okay, that's a big burden to bear.
Yeah, but in reality, I'm dying. But I definitely try and do that example because when I do play, I know talking is a lot in basketball, and that's somewhere where I kind of lack because of how I am like so in tuned with the game. Like I'm in the zone, if you get what I'm saying. So it's like that's just been something that I've been trying to do this season, like be more vocal so my teammates can hear me and understand certain things that we're doing on the floor. So I feel like I've definitely improved there. I've improved on reaching out to to some of my teammates about certain games, like, you know, making sure that they know that they made a good play so that everyone feels like included in everything, if you get what I'm saying.
I know that team dynamic can be something that's really big, and especially like if you're playing a sport.
For sure.
So what is your connection to your team? Like, how is teamwork demonstrated with you guys on and off the court?
So on the court, we always try and motivate one another. Like if someone makes a good play, we let them know that they made a good play. And if someone is in their head about something, we try and get them out like as a group. Like we always try and keep the noise going in practice, like giving gratitude, and we try and congratulate one another for their efforts, like, you know, talking on defense, trying to like do things like in a team dynamic, like for example, like if someone makes a good play, we congratulate them, let them know that they're doing well, just like keep up the intensity and hypeness of the entire thing. And off the court, we tend to do like a lot of team bonding stuff, and we all hang out like around the school area also. So it's pretty cool. We have the good team dynamic. We stay for other teams' games, like the men's basketball's games we watch, and then sometimes we grab food after. If it's not like a whole team dynamic, it's like groups or whatever, and that aligns like back into the court, if you get, yeah.
I know you said you feel like you often have to be a role model for the people on your team. And that's a heavy burden to bear, especially like when you are starting out in your college career. Do you feel like you can depend on your coaches if you need to speak about something? Like, what is your relationship with your coaches like?
I have a really good relationship with my coach. So whenever I do feel this way, I do sometimes confide in him, and I let him know that this is the way that I'm feeling, and he usually helps me bounce out of it, and like, you know, like the way that he does. And it helps me pretty much, because I mean we do have a very we have former players that used to play at at Hunter as our coaches as well, so they can kind of relate to what I'm feeling. So it's good to hear their perspective on it.
They get it, because
they definitely get it.
It's been a part of their story at one time or another.
Yeah.
Would you want to ever come back to Hunter in that capacity after you graduate, do you think?
It'd be fun. I wouldn't mind doing it, no, but I never really thought about doing it.
Okay. You mentioned too that you are supportive of the men's basketball team at Hunter too, and I really wondered, what is that dynamic like? Like, you guys are playing the same sport, but do you feel like you get that same treatment from the men's basketball team? Are they really supportive of you guys?
Yeah, they're very supportive of us. They come to our games to root for us, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's nice, because I feel like a lot of the time when you think of men's basketball, like if like NBA, you can list like 5 names off the top of your head. Usually I feel like a lot of people can, but I don't know if the professional women's basketball teams get that same respect. Like, does the WNBA get that same respect that the NBA gets? Do you feel like that also carries to the collegiate level of basketball? Do you feel that sometimes women's basketball teams or women in basketball get underestimated because of the more acceptance of men's basketball?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty leveled I think it's pretty leveled with men's and women's basketball in the college level. I mean, I'm sure others like have their own opinions on like the competition wise, but I don't think we're crucially judged by it, no.
And how would you say that continues into like WNBA, NBA? Do you think that recognition to professional women's basketball players do they get the same respect as men's basketball players?
I think in the professional level, it's definitely like the NBA does get more attention than the WNBA, and apparently I think the NBA definitely does get more attention than WNBA, and in my opinion, I think the WNBA is better because it's, I don't know, it's more like knowledge of the game. Like, you need IQ, if you get what I'm saying. Like, men's basketball, you can dunk, you can do whatever, blah blah blah.
So like style kind of stuff.
It's like more like, it's more like swaggy.
Okay. The way you're explaining things, I love it. But you said women's basketball requires IQ and math. What do you mean by that?
You can't expect, like, I mean, there are some women who can dunk, yes, but like I don't know, it's just the way that women play. It's just like there's certain things that you need to know to be a really good basketball player as a woman. Like in the WNBA, like they're all the same height, they're all very skilled, they're all very talented, but like they have to apply it and they find a way. So it's pretty impressive to me.
That's interesting, and I'm glad I got your take on that, because I know like that's a very controversial thing that people talk about sometimes, especially when it comes to all sports. I wouldn't just say basketball. If women athletes get the same respect as men. Something I wanted to ask you though, because the way CUNY is set up, sometimes I feel like it's hard to find out, maybe this is just me, it's hard to find out when games are. Because I would love to be like more supportive of the teams at Hunter, but sometimes I feel like I miss out on things, and this is, I've said this, and I feel like some of my friends at Hunter have said the same thing. But what could you say about the CUNY support of athletics? Do you feel like the CUNY community comes together a lot for your games?
I think there is a lot of people who do show up to the games and support us, yes. But like I feel like majority are those who like play at rec, because we do have a recreation center at Hunter.
Okay.
Like for different sports, basketball, volleyball, soccer, and all of those things. Also people who just know where the lower level of Hunter is. Like it shows like the screens and stuff for athletics and like the times and dates of our games. So some of them do show out and support. Yeah,
because I feel like sometimes the CUNY system or the way CUNY is set up, it's very, you get in, you get out, you go to class, you go home kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a commuter school for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder too, do you have any like weird game day rituals?
So I wear the same sports bra every single game.
Really? Okay.
And I have been recently wearing the same color socks for every single game. But like there's like a trick, and like so I wear the same sports bra, but if I do bad that day, I change the sports bra, and if I do good in that sports bra, that one keeps going. Like it has a timeline. So like whenever I do bad in a game or that I feel like I do bad, that sports bra is gone, and then we put another one on, and then if I go bad in that one, we switch to sports bra again, and then it's just an endless cycle.
Okay, so there's not one specific.
Well, currently there's been one specific, because there's been one specific.
Good.
Yeah, there's been one specific bra that I've been wearing every single game. Yeah.
Okay, and you said color socks. Is that like the Hunter color socks?
Nope, it's just white socks.
Just white socks.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you're in the midst of the season right now.
Yes.
What are your hopes for this season?
And then we come out with a chip.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end game goal.
The end goal.
Yeah.
Gotta win it all, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I hope Hunter comes away with winning it all for the women's basketball team.
Yes.
Looking ahead to the future, though, what do you expect to come of your career in basketball? Like, what do you hope to play it professionally as you continue? Do you hope to do it like occasionally? Like, what would you say you hope to do with basketball after you graduate?
I haven't really decided yet, to be honest. I'm taking it as it goes, but it would really hurt to just stop playing basketball after playing it forever.
Yeah.
But I definitely see myself still playing, not stopping, but I don't know if it'd be at a professional level. Like, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And would you hope that if one day, if you have a family of your own, you would want to put a basketball in somebody's hand like they did for you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on CUNY Uncut today. This really has been great. But before we wrap things up, I love to ask every guest on the show one last final question, and that is, what is their CUNY survival item? For me, it always goes back and forth between iced coffee. I have to have one before every class, because especially now that the semester is going on. And also the notes app on my phone. I kind of use it as a journal, note-taking. It's kind of been substituted as my planner, I've realized. So for you, what is your CUNY survival item? That can be that helps you win games or helps you in class.
So this is going to sound a little basic after hearing your answer. But every morning, I have my own espresso machine because I'm a coffee addict. But like,
Fancy.
I have a latte every morning, and I listen to R&B every morning before anything.
Got it. Well, like I said, thank you again so much for being on CUNY Uncut. This really has been great, and I wish you and your teammates all the success in the coming season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Well, that is a wrap on today's episode of CUNY Uncut. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out CUNY Uncut on social media. And once again, I'm your host, Isabel Ortiz. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.